Hey there, welcome to Pop Culture Cupid.
I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
And I'm Michal, I'm a single life coach. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self-relationship.
In this podcast, we will look at how pop culture impacts romance, dating, and your love life.
And each week we'll shoot another arrow through another pop culture delusion.
I thought we weren't going to do the whole cheesy thing.
And then burst into smithereens.
Oh my god, dude, that's so cringe!
Sorry, it's in the intro now.
If you make it through the chaos and you enjoy what you hear, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and go to all the social media.
At Pop Culture Cupid on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy!
Hi!
Hello, my fellow
Today,
insomniac. How are you?
today nearly didn't happen.
Uh,
I'm rethinking the posting this on YouTube because I just put my hair up in a messy bun, threw on a t-shirt, and that was
basically the same, except I didn't put my hair up. I just put a bunch of oil in it, and then I'm brushed the oil. I'm like, ooh, I put ice on my cold water on my eyes. I'm like, don't be puffy.
It was. I usually I go to bed fairly early, like around 10, and then because I'm an early bird and I wake up early.
Lucky you.
And but last night I was just not sleeping, and this morning I woke up kind of just in a haze, and I thought, oh, why is this happening?
I know the feeling. Yeah, where you're like, is this reality? Am I still sleeping? Is it still last night?
Exactly. I was with my boyfriend yesterday, and this morning he was like, it took you about an hour to kind of be awake and not go in and out of sleeping.
Yeah.
And then when that hour came up is when I texted you saying, can we push back an hour because I need to merge. So just this morning is just happens.
It happens. Part of life. What can you do?
Yeah, part of being a grown-up. I think you don't get these things when you're in your 20s.
Well, I think in my 20s I'll just give up and just stay in bed the whole day. But
that's so much what I want to do, but my boyfriend is the very kind of hyperactive, and when I'm on top form, I'm usually quite active, and I feel that you are as well. But when I'm not matching energy, I'm just like, I just need to sit on the sofa, watch a stupid show all day and do nothing.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? I'm kind of really tempted to just do just that after this, but we have things to do. We have adulting to be adulted, and yeah,
adulting needs to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember.
I also need adulting things to happen.
I still can't believe sometimes that I'm an adult. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? But
before we digress too far and not come back to Ultimatum, this week was I own the place that I live in, and so it's in a building. So we have these homeowners meetings regularly, and we had a homeowner meeting. So not Friday just gone, the one before, and I'm 31. The other youngest owner is, I think, 25, and then the next one up is in his 40s. It's usually people or the rest of them are in their 50s and things like that. So we're only two who are 25 to 30, and all of these adults are just behaving like children. And this week I found myself writing an email to all of the homeowners saying, listen, I mean, we need to just get along, and if there's a roof dripping, we need to just band together. and if we're not agreeing, we need to go and get the information. And I was sitting, it's like, why am I, 30-year-old, telling these 50-year-olds how to behave like adults? Like, what is going on?
Well, it just goes to show that the age isn't what really matters at the end of
Exactly.
the day.
Exactly.
Really. I think we all, like, people always stay young at heart. Like, I feel like it's so hard to comprehend getting old. Like, I see it in my parents a lot. They're still so young sometimes. Like, they still behave like children at times. Like, especially with emotions, you can't really. But we're digressing here. We're getting
But
all
I digressing.
philosophical and psychological.
Well, because I think about Ultimatum, and we're going to be able to talk a lot about adults behaving like children.
Oh my God, that's so true. Well, why else go on a reality show then, right?
So last week I had only watched the first episode and a half, and so I had,
Yeah.
and you know what we should do is that when Love is Blind comes out in a couple of weeks, we should watch the first episode and then.
Or we should make predictions.
And exactly, we should make predictions, because I was like, I would have gotten all of my predictions so wrong. But I think that's what's fun about this type of show. But yeah, we should have made predictions, because the way I started hating Roxanne was.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It just goes to show the first impression isn't everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we're diving right into it. She was a piece of cake. It took me a while to realize what I was watching and to
Yeah.
realize I was like, wait, what? And the whole beginning part is very confusing to me, because suddenly they're in different couples and you have to keep track of who was with
Yeah.
whom and who's with whom now. And it's like, oh my God, wait, what? And I'm like, this whiplash thing. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and so you're sort of trying to figure out, wait, is her behavior justified? I don't understand what, but my issue with her, and I'm all for powerful women going out and conquering the world and wanting to be with men who are on their level. You know what I mean? I understand that. I also want to be with a man who challenges me, and I also want to be with a man who's not a parasite. I want to be with a man who has motivation and aspiration and is ambitious. That being said, she is constantly worried and concerned about what she's getting and not getting, what he's giving to her and not giving to her. And he's constantly doing something wrong. He's constantly apologizing. He's constantly just being, I'll change, I'll fix this, I'm working on that. I know what's wrong with me, and I know that I'm the problem. And it's just like so ridiculous to me. And
I feel that Roxanne, she is so terrified about being kind of submissive in her relationship, about she's 31, she's our age. I think she grew up with the same storyline of women have been walked all over and blah blah blah, and we need to own up to our shit and blah blah blah. And I think she's so terrified of being the one being walked all over that she is choosing men that she can walk all over, and then that because she can, and that she can nitpick and pinpoint the things that make them subpar men.
Yeah.
Being said, I think that she was right about, is it Alex? Yeah. So she is with Antonio, but she fake coupled up with Alex. Right. I think she's right in the sense that he does kind of feel like, okay, he was portrayed in the exact light that she was saying. We know that these shows don't show the whole reality, but with how he was portrayed, I agree with her analysis. But it is funny how she says, I can cut through the bullshit, but she is so unaware, because she does not like all respect Antonio, and everybody can see that. You can tell on that reunion how uncomfortable he was, how choked up he was, and he is just not ready to become that entrepreneurial man. He has done everything that she wants, and she is still unhappy with him.
And she'll still be unhappy no matter what he does. That's the absurd part. I feel like he's trying to mold him and shape him into something that he isn't, instead of just letting him go. And it's like the worst thing you can do is like dragging someone along because, I don't know, because she can. Where else is she gonna find a man that she can control like that, and who's gonna follow her like a little puppy, who's gonna do whatever she wants? And like she says, she wants him to be ambitious and strong or whatever, but at the end of the day, she's acting or behaving towards him like she likes him as he is now, which is basically beneath her, like her subordinate or whatever it is. But
she said something along the leagues and playing in different leagues.
Yeah.
I was like, that is, I mean, I think we all agree that she's right in the sense that there are different types of people that play on different levels. And, you know, you've got the ambitious people and the good looking people and the academic people and the vegans and everything. And it's just, there is not a, that's the difference. I think we all agree that there are different types of people, but there are not hierarchies. But she is putting it in the hierarchy thing, and she is telling him, I'm out of your league. How horrible is that?
So horrible. It is terrible to, because you're setting unrealistic standards for someone who can't ever meet them. And I don't think anyone would ever meet them, because I feel like no matter who she dated, she'll find something to nitpick and something to complain about. That's just that kind of person. And Antonio is, I really liked him. I think he's a lovely guy. I think he's very sweet. I just think he's a bit of a pushover and he needs to stand up for himself.
I think he's got some growing up.
And oh, for sure, for sure. I'm not sure. How old is he? I can't remember.
30.
How old?
30.
30. Yeah. I mean,
his story, he comes from, like, he used to do a lot of recreational drugs, and he wasn't like a horrible meth head, but he was he did say he smoked weed a lot, he would drink a lot, and he would do all these things that are very easily accessible, and he just fell into it. And he only stopped kind of like a couple of years ago when he met Roxanne. So I put him at a teenage level of just, he did this for years and he hasn't grown up. And I agree, he is a pushover, and he just has some growing up to do, which is fine. Let him grow up. Don't push him into something. Because obviously people can be entrepreneurs, but people can also have very successful careers being employed. You don't have to earn a lot of money to be happy. I mean,
yeah, I just feel like she's trying to mold and shape him into something that he isn't, or she's just trying to create him be exactly as she wants, which is never right for any relationship. You can't force someone to be something they're not, or you can't force them to grow up if they're not ready for it, or you can't force them to do it quicker than they're ready for. And at the end of the day, if there's so much in him that bothers you, then he's likely not right. You can't force someone, again, and you shouldn't force someone to change for you. And if he wants to change for himself, then that's great. But I just feel like he's doing it only for her. Like, I feel, yes, he wants to grow up, he wants to be a better person, but he's trying at the same time to become the person that she wants him to be, and not what the person that he wants to be. So it's kind of pushing them into a corner that they're never going to get out of.
Yeah, he's not taking a minute to see if this is what fits with him.
No, he isn't.
And
he's always at fault.
Of course. Okay. You know what I compare Roxanne to? You remember Alexis from Love Is Blind?
Oh yes. Oh my God.
Same type of woman of like,
same thing.
Power, blah blah blah. And it's just like, you are the embodiment of toxic femininity, of just of just saying that, you know, I'm right and you're wrong and I'm going to walk all over you, blah, blah, blah. That is not
Yeah.
what powerful women do or should do. This is just you choosing, because Alexis, she chose, what is it, Cole, his name was? And she just walked all
No,
over.
Cole was the other guy.
No, but
Cole was oh, when she was supporting Zainab or whatever her name is.
exactly. She did not go
Yeah.
against that other guy that was acting like a complete asshole, because he had a bit of character and he would have bitten back. But Cole didn't bite
Yeah.
back, and Alexis is fighting like. And now Roxanne is doing the same with Antonio and the same with Alex, and she tried to do the same with, what is it, Kate, the blonde girl, Cat,
Um, Cat. Yeah.
and
Yeah, she tried to ruin that couple for some reason. I think she was jealous of what they had. I'm kind of convinced of that, probably.
there's probably some of that, but I think that she tries, because I see how a person could think that Kat is like soft spoken and on the weaker side. And when Kat
Yeah.
starts kind of like answering and defending herself, Roxanne didn't like that, and she just kind of
Yeah.
she was gaslighting her. So whether or not Kat was right or not or wrong or whatever, it just still goes to Roxanne chooses the weaker people in the herd, and when they are
Mm-hmm.
fighting back,
Yeah.
she's going against it. And oh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Which was interesting because with Alex, he was also pushing back constantly. So I'm assuming that's exactly why she didn't like him or why she was like talking bad about him, why she tried to paint him in such a light because she didn't like him fighting back. And I find it funny that she was entertaining the thought of being with someone who challenges her or someone who's at her level when she probably subconsciously, I'm not sure she completely realizes it. She loves having a guy like Antonio that she can be above, that she can step all over. And
Absolutely.
so Alex wouldn't have put up with that. And like him or not, I feel like he put her in her place and he wasn't willing to fold like Antonio does. He wasn't willing to go, oh yeah, I'm the one at fault. I'm the problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree. It's just, yeah.
such
Well,
a messy, messy situation.
I watched the last episode with my boyfriend, and he was like, "I can't believe you girls watch this." Like it's television, okay? So we hate that we love it, and we love to hate it, and
I know. Maybe it may help us feel good about our own lives.
yeah,
But
definitely. I mean, this is. I think that's the aim of this type of show. Of we want to. I mean, look at how your life is so good, and like these good looking people and do the drama and they work out and they all got engaged. I mean, Roxanne and Antonio, she says she doesn't want to wear a ring because she doesn't want to feel like she belongs to someone, but she still wants the guy to
yeah,
provide, and she still wants the guy to open the door and like drive the car.
it's ridiculous. She's like such a walking.
Contradiction.
Yes, thank you. She's a walking contradiction. She wants a chivalrous man from a gentleman,
She
a
wants a guy that's providing
bench, but
walk over.
yes, but she's also not willing to also be a gentlewoman in return. She's not willing. She's like, I want to be the princess while still remaining a strong, powerful woman. And it's like you don't necessarily have to choose that or the other, but don't claim to be one or the other.
Yeah.
If you're like the whole thing, I'm getting lost in her contradictions
Yeah,
already.
let's move
Like,
on from Roxanne. Um,
oh
yeah, that. So I mean, there was so Kat and Alex. I don't know. I like her. I don't know how I feel about him because I still feel that I do feel there is some kind of dishonesty of
Yeah.
he's trying himself to be something that he's not, and just what I'm going off of is when we were talking to, well, we were talking to like the scene was with Kat's friends, and they were saying these things about, you say you're gonna do this, but you never do, and like, what do you need? Like, Kat is so nice and she's so everything. Oh,
Yeah.
what I hate is what happened with Kat and with Ryan, where these guys, so Alex and James, had to
Mm-hmm.
get outside opinions to realize how good these women were. And it's like,
Yeah. It's
outside validation is so annoying, because I get it, you know, James had his kind of whole story about his childhood, and he didn't go into much detail about that, but you know, it's good that he owned up to it. But he needed to feel like he was losing Ryan to just own up and say, okay, I want to marry you. Because I feel that I would have loved for Ryan and Trey to end up together.
that would have been adorable.
I would have loved that, because I feel that these two were the
That would
best
have been so
on the
great.
show.
Yeah. I feel, where do I even begin? Um, Alex, I feel like he was just painted in such a light that it's very difficult for me to say what, you know, what he is or who he is. I find it very hard. I feel like in some way he's also a bit like Roxanne, that he's trying to manipulate Kat the way Roxanne tries to manipulate, well, manipulates, not tries, Antonio. Except Kat has a bit more of a backbone to her. Like she is soft spoken, but she does have, like, she stands her ground, and she doesn't just she didn't listen to Roxanne and right away like, oh, agree with her and like, yes, you're right, you're this, you're that, whatever. So I don't know, but I'm also like, I wasn't like, they were kind of boring to me as well. They were like, eh,
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
they tried to make out, you know, how all of these shows they have
The villain, they try to
the
make a
villain,
create a
yeah, exactly.
villain.
The villain, the temptress, the soft-spoken one, the
Yeah.
one and everything. They definitely tried to make Alex the villain guy, and it just kind of fell flat. I
Yeah,
could
because
I,
I don't. Mhm.
I could see him being a bit of a fuckboy in real life, but nothing to be too dramatic about.
Yeah, I feel like he was, because he wasn't. How do I put it? Like, even in the reunion show, he was very calm. He was very cool and collected. He doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't fall to the, like, those traps where they try to trigger you to get you all freaked out and create a scene. He's like, so I don't know. There's a part of me where he's just like, he is what he is. He's just a bit
Yeah,
of a douche, but
he's
what can you do?
I think he's the kind of average early, like late 20s, early 30s Western white boy of just, he's still got some growing up to do. He
Yeah.
he's like, Antonio is too young, not in age, but in his mind. Like, he needs to
Oh, for
mature.
sure.
He's just got he needs to be left alone and be given time. Whereas I feel that Alex and maybe James as well, they kind of just, they need to be just slightly nudged and just go, okay, dudes, like, you know, you guys
Yeah.
you guys are educated, like, you've got a good background, you everything, like, you guys just get, be pushed in the right way. And I feel, I hate that, we talked about it last time, the giving an ultimatum, but the fact that their women kind of just said, okay, like, now we need to move on. I feel it's just average. It's just, there's no drama. They're both going to get married. And I don't know about Kat and Alex, but James and Ryan, they for sure are going to just be this cute couple for years.
Yeah. here's the thing. I kind of like James though. Like I feel like it was difficult for me to I don't know, because like sometimes I liked him, sometimes I didn't. But as a whole, I feel like he sort of would how to put this? Like he was very sweet and he was very soft spoken. He didn't create drama. And he was like, well, he's kind of like the I think I liked him because it just goes to he shows us that this thing is ridiculous because he goes into this trial marriage, but he's not really giving it a real chance. He's not here to say, "Oh, I'm actually going to be dating what's her name, Raya." Like, I'm not going to actually be giving her a real chance. I'm not going to be touching her. I'm not going to be having sex with her. I'm not going to really entertain the thought because I know that I came with what was her name, Ryan, and I want to be with Ryan. And I feel like that's like exactly, and that's why the whole show is ridiculous. And
Yeah,
it's
you
like, so you're going to sorry?
just need to be given a nudge. Just
Yeah. But like I'm like, that's a ridiculous part. If you need a nudge like that, then I don't know. But I kind of like that he was like very respectful and he was very like although Riot got insulted that he wasn't willing to hug her, touch her, whatever. But I'm like,
all that I
I get
forgot.
it. You yeah, I'm like, I get it. Like you're not here like that's normal to me. Like when you love someone and when you want to marry them or you want to be with them, you don't want to touch another person. You don't want to go have sex with them. Maybe you would entertain thought in your mind, but you don't actually want to do it. Like it feels wrong. It just feels wrong. And it's sort of like maybe for them, like specifically, it would go to show, like, yeah, they really are meant to be together because neither one of them wanted to. Well, maybe Ryan a bit wanted to be with Trey, but um,
I
I
think
really liked her
yeah,
as well. But yeah,
Ryan is the MVP of the show.
yeah,
I agree. I agree with the whole analysis around James of just he's not a bad guy. He just needs a bit of a nudge, and it's why he's so stupid because yes, you've been together for 7 years, but you are only 24, and he still had some
yeah,
studying to do. And I'm, this I feel conflicted about yes, you want to choose the person that you love, but if these huge opportunities, but we haven't got enough background story for that to make any judgment. But I agree, he's just it's just the whole silliness of it all. But Trey, that he took Ryan for granted, and Trey did not take Ryan for granted at all.
yeah.
I think that makes all the difference of why
Mm-hmm.
Ryan at some point may be kind of I don't know about this, but because they've been together since they were 16. They don't know what it's like to be single in adult life. They don't know what it's like to be without the other. So I think
Yeah,
it's a shame, but it's understandable that James took Ryan for granted. And Trey, being a bit older, having a bit more kind of romantic experience, did not take her for granted because he was also dealing with Raya, who was just not giving him anything. And Ryan was so affected
yeah.
and everything. So I think that's why kind of there was a bit of tilt and like unevenness. But I mean, I don't hate Raya, but Trey is a catch. Like he is an absolute catch,
Yeah.
and he deserves a woman that appreciates that.
Oh, for sure. He really is a great guy. But you know what? I'll get back to Ryan in a minute. But like, I feel like with Raya and we just said his name, Trey, there, there's a huge, not a huge age gap, but there's a pretty big age gap. I think she's like 24 or something like that, and he's like 30 something.
Right.
And it's not the biggest age gap, but I feel like because they're also in very different places in their lives, it enhances it. And I feel like she was just pressured into getting married because she was afraid of losing him because he's ready for marriage and she's not ready for marriage yet, and she's still very young and she's still not sure what she wants to do with her future. And that's also part of the issue that I take in the whole concept of the show is that you can't force someone into something they're not ready for. You're giving someone an ultimatum, but that's either going to push them into something again that they're not ready for, or that's just going to push them away.
Exactly.
It's not really helpful or productive in any way. You're creating just drama and a mess. So you either have to be patient and understanding and have open communication, or you have to understand that maybe you're not right for each other and move on and find the right people for you. But I feel like they were just way too young. She was way too young, and he was more mature. He was a more advanced stage. He was ready to start a family already, or get married or whatever.
And also, she
And
she was she wants to have the city life and have the going out and everything.
yeah,
He wants to have the suburban life, and that's completely fine. I, for a long time, loved the city life, and now I'm kind of
yeah,
looking more for a suburban life. And it's fine. You know, you can change, but they are, yes, the age gap is only a few years, but you can
yeah.
feel it in the sense that she's not ready to
Hmm.
stop partying. He is.
Yeah,
And that makes me
yeah. And I feel for sure, and I feel like it's very evident in, like, let's say with Ryan, because Ryan is also her age, I think, around her age, but Ryan is more mature and she's more ready.
yeah.
The thing, the thing is I feel like it's like you said, it's very difficult to be with the same person for so many years, and not only that, from a very young age. Like when you're 16, 17, 18 even, like you have no idea what real love is. You don't know what real relationship entails. You're not mature in any way. You're like sort of falling into this relationship and rolling with it. So you sort of just naturally take it for granted. And it's like you don't know anything else. You don't understand anything else. And it's hard not to, because you get used to it at an age where you need a relationship to be cool, for conformity, because that's what everyone's doing. And so when you start a relationship at that age with that kind of mindset, there's no other way, I don't believe, to be in a relationship. So it takes longer to mature together in that relationship. So it's a wonder it takes 7 years, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's also why you have these kind of between 25 and 30-year olds. They'll be the ones who have been in relationships for 10 years, and well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
6 or 7 or 8 years, and will be getting married. And then you'll have those who have only been in a relationship for a couple of years and still getting married. And it's not
Yeah.
just you've been together for so long, or you haven't been together long enough. It's we have all of this maturity and emotional experience that allows us to know where we are as adults, which makes it that much quicker for our relationship. It's why, you see these 35-year-olds within a few months are married and thinking about having a baby. Some of them it's a train wreck
Mm-hmm.
waiting to happen, but a lot of them it's just we've had this experience, we know where we are, and so if we want to
Yeah.
get married, we can go very quickly, and if not, we're just going to be together, and that's fine. But yeah, it's not the amount of time, it's also, yes, you've been together 7 years, you are 24. Calm down. You've got,
Yeah.
he is barely out of school. Like, you've got a lot of growing up and being adults to do.
Yeah. I feel like it's also a matter of timing. Like I really believe in timing in life. A lot of times you meet the right person at the wrong time. Well, not well, I guess I don't know. But I feel like so I feel like, let's say I feel like I'm with my right person right now. And if I were to meet him a few years back, I don't think it would have lasted. Like we were
Amen.
both like a mess. We were both in just a place where we couldn't create something as healthy as we created right now. We weren't in the right mindset. We would have ruined it. We would have argued and fought and had ego battles, and we would have just like been desperate and maybe codependent, and it would have been a disaster. And same goes here. When you meet someone at a young age, 16, 17, you're not ready to get married and have kids. So those first years, yes, you've been together for 7 years, but the first, let's say until 21 at least, don't count in my book, because that's not a real relationship. That, I mean, it is a real relationship to a certain extent, but it's like, it's puppy love. What do you know about life at 16? Like, your brain doesn't develop fully until you're 25. It's like, oh, part of your skull, brain, whatever it is. It's like, it doesn't count. Like, for me, the real count starts like from 20 something and up, or maybe even from 24, 25. So like, really, they're barely a year together.
That I completely agree with that. I will add that you know what a relationship looks like, sustainable love looks like,
Mm-hmm.
when you have responsibilities, and not the
Yes.
responsibilities of taking out the trash, like paying bills and going to work. And I know that I can rely on my parents, if I need to, but most of the time I'm the one paying the mortgage. I mean, not most of the time, like practically 100% of the time I'm the one paying the mortgage, paying the bills, getting myself to work and everything. There was last year I went through some stuff, and so I was happy to have my parents. But other than that, it's just me dealing with me. And you can't
Yeah.
know what that looks like until you've been a couple of years outside of school. And like,
Yeah.
parents are just letting go of the reins, and that's just, cutting the umbilical cord, and that's that. And so for some people it happens um quite early, and for some people it's quite late. My first boyfriend, I think the umbilical cord is still attached. He must be 32 or
Hmm.
33 now. Like, he had, at 25 he had been working for 3 years, and he was still living with his parents.
Wow.
So I think, and that,
Yeah.
that's his. It's part of the reason why we broke up and things like that. But yeah, you don't know what a sustainable relationship and love looks like until you've got a couple of years outside of school, living, and not kind of like 100% depending on your parents.
Yeah. I feel like when you start a relationship like that, you're sort of like moving the dependence from your parents to your partner. And
Yeah,
that's sort of such an unhealthy way to build a relationship. I don't think there should ever be a codependence like that. Yes, you should depend on each other, but you shouldn't constantly be relying on one another to be everything for you. And when you don't know what it's really like to be an adult, to live independently, then you can't really be in a healthy relationship. Like, I'm thinking back to my relationship when I was six. Well, it was like 17 till 19, something like that. And it was such a puppy love. It was like the most cutest, disgustingly sweet thing you can imagine. And I remember being like, telling my friend, "Oh, do you think I'm gonna marry him one day?" And I remember feeling like scared of it, just the thought of not ever marrying him. And now I think back at it, and I'm like, that's so ridiculous. I had no idea. Like, I feel like there's such a like I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm like, I'm thinking back at that. You don't know what you want from your life. You have not, like, I'm like, and now looking back at it today, I'm like, oh my God, like, thank God I did not marry that person. Thank God I did not marry the guy the two guys I've dated in my 20s. I'm like, I'm like, I didn't know, like, you're still stuck in that conformity
yeah.
mindset. You're still stuck in that wanting to please everyone around you, going by what society tells you that you need to do. And it's sort of like there's so much outside noise that you still haven't fully discovered your own voice, and you still haven't started fully following your own wants, needs, and aspirations. Like, you're still looking sideways all the time.
I Amen. Yes. I mean, and then some guys. I mean, I hope that some of the guys that I kind of dated when I was younger, this I know that some have evolved. I've had 3 relationships that lasted over a year, not including this one. And then just another few that lasted, 6 months or less.
Yeah.
And out of these guys, I know that some of them have, kind of grown up and things like that. And, I hope they're doing well. But I know that some of them have not.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know where I was going with this, but the conclusion to that is some people changed, but not everyone, so don't count on it. And the guys who did change, they probably changed because I kind of left their life and they were with people that allowed them to change. And there's just, you don't want to count on it. And what you were saying with you about your boyfriend is the same for me and mine. We were talking about where we were a few years ago, because he has a child with another woman, and that's a whole thing.
Yeah,
maybe a story for another episode. And what if we met just before our relationships and things like that? And if we had met 8 years ago, it would have been the most disastrous relationships, because he was everything that I disliked in men, and I was everything that he disliked in women, and we hadn't done our growing up and things like that. So what you were saying about timing is true, because it's different people at different times, and we evolve, and we're not available emotionally or actually, and and part of my kind of less positive relationships made me who I am today. So if I'd met him before those relationships, then I wouldn't be what he loves about me now, and vice versa. So yeah, something about timing.
Yeah.
Which, ultimatum, let your people grow up, and if you're not there, move on.
Yeah, I feel like that's a problem a lot of them, especially in the early 20s, and even more so when you're a teenager. You focus on the wrong things. Like, I'm thinking about like things now that I'm like, that's such a ridiculous thing to words. It's such a ridiculous thing to focus on and to not like a person for. It's such a ridiculous thing to to let annoy you or whatever. Or there's also things that you sort of put up with when you're younger because you so charmed by this person and you want to be with them and you're desperate for them to like you, or you just want to be in a relationship and you're too scared to be on your own. And I feel like, look, as humans, we're constantly changing and evolving. And when you're in a relationship, you can't expect to be the same people for the rest of your life. So you need to learn first how to grow and change as individuals, but also together as a couple. But to expect someone to change for you, or to expect them to change at all, is an unhealthy way to think, and it's not the right mindset for a relationship. You have to base your decisions on who they are now and how well you fit together and how good the relationship is, and just go from there. You never know what may happen in a few years, but as long as the intention is there and you're creating open communication, that's fine. But I feel like a lot of times, especially here in the Ultimatum, they're all just so desperate to get married that they're willing to do anything for it. So
yeah I just want to talk about my other, I don't know, topic. What's that girl's name that was pregnant?
Yes. Oh my God.
So
I forgot their names. I think I have it written down somewhere. Let me look. What was their name? I forgot their name. I don't remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Raya, for everything that we kind of like, I mean, I don't dislike her. She's just not my type of woman, but she was fine. And I love the fact that she stood up for herself. then she's like, you
Mm-hmm.
said this, I don't appreciate it. And that other bitch, I mean, I'm not gonna bitch. She goes, I don't care. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, oh yeah, you choosing my man, and I don't believe you are the one that put yourself in that situation,
Yeah.
and then to blame it on the hormones, I was just like, and
Yeah.
I couldn't do the exact math, but if she had, if they wrapped filming, um, like around 10 months previously, and she gave birth 7 weeks before they filmed that reunion episode, and the whole filming process is um a month, well, a bit more than a month. I'm not sure that that math is mathing. Of she was
No,
pregnant.
it isn't.
I'm
No, it isn't.
I was just I can't, you know,
Oh, now I'm curious.
it feels
I'm
like,
gonna try and math it, but
yeah, I want to go back, but then I just, life took over. But I need to look into it. But
yeah.
the math isn't mathing, and so the whole, you know, and Roxanne, maybe she was hormonal and blah blah blah. It's just like the hormones don't take over the first day.
I know. That's why I was laughing last time when you said, I hope they don't blame it on the hormones.
Exactly. And
You
and
predicted that.
yes. But even if it just, let's admit that, let's accept that she was pregnant and it was the hormones. And because if you do a pregnancy test, you have to have been pregnant for 4 weeks, like 3 weeks at the earliest. So it's just not mathing.
Yeah.
It's just not working. Anyway, whatever.
No.
But let's say that she was. Let's just say, then you can just say, I'm sorry, it was the hormones. It doesn't mean I should have spoken to you that way or about you. I apologize. No, she just went, I don't care. And for me, it's, how do people still behave that way when you leave high school? It's just,
But that wasn't the most annoying part for me either. It was like she was being so flippant and so, because I felt like at the beginning, yes, she was like, I don't care. I don't regret it. I was sad and you deserved it. But then afterwards, in the end, she was sort of suddenly being all complacent and soft and like, yes, I didn't mean to, I didn't this. I'm like, wait, but you just a minute ago said that you didn't care and you didn't bother you and you don't regret it. But now you're sort of saying something else. Like I felt like she was like contradicting herself just because suddenly people were like, I don't know, someone like talking about it and someone was defending her about her hormones and like, yes, yes, it was my hormones. I'm like, oh, I don't know. People just trying to save grace. That's the thing. Oh my God, that's exactly it. When people don't take the time to mature enough and develop themselves to really know what they are and who they are and what their values are, so they're constantly flippant and they constantly have like these identity crises and they like react one way, then react another way, or they behave, just that behavior is evident to insufficient personal growth and immaturity.
oh yeah. You,
So, yeah, fun stuff indeed.
yeah,
But
but
you know what? In general, hmm?
no, please.
I was just gonna say, in general, I felt like the like other than that, like I felt like the reunion was just just
Yeah,
meh, just lukewarm, just like eh,
it's
like boring.
it's
Everyone there is complacent and wanting to get married, and that's it.
you know, it's because the most dramatic couple got pregnant, um,
Yeah, and left early.
and left early. And so then the other only really dramatic person was Roxanne. So she
Yeah.
stirred a bit of trouble, but then now I think that she realized that there were some things that she did kind of wrong. So she kind of went low profile, and then she said, oh, I'm so sorry, I just
Hmm.
didn't know. And yeah, it could have been the intensity of it all, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And anyway, now it feels, there was that. And so then Kat and Ryan, not dramatic people at all, so they were not going to stir drama. Usually the men are not the dramatic ones, so you're only left with
No.
Raya, and Raya did try to stir the pot a bit with, oh, you won't even touch me, because she was definitely
She's
trying.
insulted.
Exactly, she was insulted, and she was definitely trying to get him to touch her and gaslighting him, like, definitely. But other than that,
Yeah.
they weren't these really loud, like Zenab and Alexis and like these fuck boys and everything. There weren't these types of people. So yeah, the reunion,
Yeah.
like, we're all gonna be civil and we're all gonna try and save face and things like that. And it's just,
Which should be normal behavior. So I like we're complaining that they weren't
but that's
being
not
more
why we watch the
dramatic and
show.
chaos. But that's true. That's true. I don't know. I feel like it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, the whole thing. But we love it and we enjoy talking about it. So
Yeah, we do. And touching to an end, we still haven't posted anything. We want to do it this week. We've just been so tired,
yes.
it's annoying. But I feel that because we want to be posting fairly soon, um, maybe our next episode should be our Love is Blind predictions, because we've got a bit of
Yes.
time and we can just kind of set everything up. So we won't filming, shooting, recording, whatever next week, but it's on the 22nd, so we can watch one episode and then have our predictions episode, and then just watch the rest of it and then have a thing on that.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
our next episode is going to be Love is Blind, and that is
Oh, we love Love is Blind.
that is quality. And then I sent you the Love Island All Stars, and that is just
Yeah.
going to be. It's either going to be the
I'm
worst world, or it's just quality.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Golden Bachelor. I think that would be fun. I haven't watched The Bachelor in years, but I feel like that would be funny.
You know,
That would be adorable.
I never watched the kind of American version of The Bachelor, but we had a similar, well, I mean, just the French version, in French, like for women and for men, because the French, that we're not very good with kind of films and TV shows, but bad reality TV, we're good. Like, I feel it's something most countries are good at doing this, and so I did watch the French version when I was a teenager, but I never watched The Bachelor Golden. But I think we need to. I think
I think it's the first time they're doing it, like a gold, like an older gentleman, with older women. I guess that would be funny though if they did an older man with this young women.
Oh, funny or weird, you know.
Or sad.
You know, on that trend on TikTok or whatever, it's funny, not ha ha funny.
Funny, ha ha.
Funny,
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. But
anyway, leave comments, likes, opinions, contradict
let us know. Oh, we love contradiction. Let us know what you thought of this season of the Ultimatum. Do you agree with our assumptions, or do you disagree? Do you think the Ultimatum is awesome and it just goes to show because they all got engaged?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Pop Culture Cupid on all the platforms.
Yes. Come follow us. Come join us.
Join us. Bye.
Bye-bye.